The holiday season and giving, and I just don't want to give to the league. We have them fine me for anything that I might say.
You got to pay for that iPad.
We're right, exactly. The only thing, I had some really good prices on Black Friday. They were some really good prices for them. I was so excited this year to finally be able to, be like, I'm a part of Black Friday. I've never done it before. It was really cool. I was like, I got a good deal.
Oh my gosh.
So
you don't need a good deal. I read today you make $1 million a year.
Yeah. Holy cow! Did you all see that? I tweeted it, and that's why it was like spit my drink out. So you had to go really far down in the article that Charlie Walters wrote that sources were that my deal was worth $1 million a year.
I mean, it should be, but
well, let's talk about that, right? So
I mean, you're the general manager and
but it's
coach.
Not just it's not.
But it should.
I could string a few years together and get close to that, but I just thought it was really interesting, and maybe I need to fire my agent and hire Charlie, because if that's what he thinks I was worth, I could have gotten, then I probably should have gone with Charlie to negotiate my deal. But I digress. Women are worth far more than what we're getting paid. We know that, right? We still don't have equal pay on the dollar. And that's not just in sports. That's everywhere. And so we need to keep talking about that and pushing forward there. As it comes to the sports landscape, I am so proud of this generation of women that has so much courage to speak out and say, your crumbs are not enough for us anymore. You can't keep doing the same thing. The players of the WNBA want an investment mindset in women. Anything that men do, and Oliver's a guy I'm all about. I have brothers, dad. It's not about we're anti-men. We're proponents for women moving forward and being empowered. And the idea that this group, or Megan Rapinoe of women's soccer, having the courage to say that what you're doing is laughable and it's not enough. And we need Adam Silver to do better by the WNBA. And I say this frequently. I know he wrote the business plan for the WNBA, and I think deep down inside, he's a fan of the WNBA. The problem that Adam has is that he answers to the NBA ownership. He answers to them. And to be really honest with you, NBA ownership outside of a few owners, because we only have, I think, 4 NBA affiliated teams. Because long ago, we let the NBA owners out of it. When David Stern sort of twisted some arms and said, hey, be a part of this with me, they did it for a couple years, and they said, it's not all that interesting, and they let it go away. And I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that our league has made. And so now I think it's Adam Silver's job is to fix that, get it back. I believe that if you want to be a part of the NBA, you should pay into the WNBA. If you want to be a part of it, leverage the interest in the iconic brand of the NBA. If you want to do it, fine. Then you have to be a part of our values. And our values are that we're going to lift up women. Because to be really honest, the NBA, where it was in year 22 or 23, was not very good. We're far past where the NBA was back then. And we talk about that, they needed doubleheaders. They needed a Harlem Globetrotters to appeal to people to come to games. But we didn't stop investing in men when no one cared about the NFL. When the NFL needed a high school game to get people to be interested. We didn't stop investing in men. And all Adam Silver and Mark Tatum, number 2 in command, all they have done is every chance they speak about the WNBA, they say it lost $12 million last year. And Glenn Taylor will tell you that's pocket change for an entire league to lose $12 million. The Timberwolves would appreciate only losing $12 million. Let me tell you that, as a team. And so it is true for so many men's sports, whether it's the Wolves or other franchises that lose to the tune. We worked in Detroit. They lost $25 million a year. But nobody talked about that team going away or that no one cared about it. And so what the women today of the WNBA, what they want is an investment mindset, because anything that men want to do, they get a shiny new stadium for. MLS, okay, cool. Here's millions of dollars. ESPN gives them 3 times the deal they gave the WNBA and build them shiny new stadiums. I don't care whether it's private owned or not. E-League. We're building new stadiums for the E-League to watch people play a video game. We'll do anything. We'll give money for anything. And women want a piece of that pie, and we're not wrong to want that.
One of the things I saw Ogumake, the head of the Players Union, said today is we just want we want to see the books, Mr. Silver, to see where the $12 million is.
Yeah. Well, But I think that the players would, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but we can go into some arenas and you can understand that our business, just like in the NBA or NHL, you're going to go to some places where the business isn't so good. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has it like we have here in the Minnesota Lynx. We continue to be the model franchise from a business standpoint, and it just that's only a part of it. Showing the books and the losses, that's only a part of it. I think the bigger part of it is how do we move this forward so that we can expand our ability to have revenues and pay these players more. We live in a world, I think, in the WNBA and women's sports that all we look to do ever is reduce expenses. We don't look for ways to increase revenue. And I think that's, we don't hold sponsors accountable. Those of you that are out there that have the ability, hold people's feet to the fire. What are corporate sponsors doing? What are the ways that, we have how many Fortune 500 companies here in the Twin Cities area? What are they doing? Where are their sponsorship dollars going? Less than 5% of the money goes to women's sports. And so we have to do better. TV. What's FSN doing? How much is FSN paying? How much is ESPN paying? We have, that's how you increase revenue. It's not always saying give the women less and reduce expenses. So it's obviously, I don't know where the CBA is going to land. I just know that I'm thrilled that this generation of women is empowered and they don't fear retribution. I think you're going to see meaningful change in the coming years.
I have one more question before we open it up to y'all to ask your own questions, because I know you have many of them, but talk about fear of retribution or having no fear. I admire you in many spaces, but one of them most notably being Twitter. You are not afraid to punch back when need be. So people ask me this all the time, so I want to ask you, how do you decide what you poke back on? What issues are so important to you that you're not going to just take it?
I think when the tired narrative around women, when we make a remark about making more money or more TV coverage, the ones that kind of come in and spewing that no one's interested, or it's just a matter of supply and demand, that sort of thing. I see it as an opportunity to educate, and I know at the end of the day, in most cases, that the person that I'm talking to is probably pretty entrenched in their beliefs. But if anyone else is reading it and they had a moment where they thought differently about it, that's what I'm after in those moments. Because I think we have to answer some of that narrative with what the truth is. It's not just about revenue. It's about what we're doing. It's about the resources that we're giving women's sports to be able to be propelled forward and to earn more. What are we charging to go to games? In some places, you can go to a game for free. And that's, people want to know that they're getting value. And when something's free, they don't see value in it. Maybe a T-shirt that they throw at Lindsay's game or the basketball, everybody really excited about that. We see value in that free perk. But I just think in general, that it just the worth, the narrative around women. We have to change the narrative. We can't let people spew the same thing over and over again, despite a near media blackout. And Jim's part of the media, you're part of the media. Despite a near media blackout, less than 5%. Look at the ways that we have grown. Participation continues to grow. The interest continues to grow. So it is a bias. There's a bias that exists that we have to break through.
Agreed.
So, hey, and while we're doing this, it's great. We can start the question. Oh, there she is. Okay, I was going to say we're going to bring Assistant General Manager Claire DeWillius to the stage. I'm throwing Claire into the fire. Yes, that's great. Well, I was going to let Jana do the hard hitting. But Claire, what's it like working for Cheryl? Next week,
Claire,
then we're
what's
going
it
to talk.
like dealing with Cheryl? Because we've been told she's hard to deal with. Here, go ahead.
So, those of you probably know that Claire was elevated last season to her role as assistant general manager when I took over the general manager role. I told Claire this when we were talking about continuing on here in our journey together, that over the last 10 years, a lot of great things happened, to me in terms of the relationships of the people that I've come involved with, but not many that are better than what's happened in terms of Claire DeWilliams' impact on our franchise. And so I wanted to take a second to recognize all that Claire does. Quite simply, those of you that have people like this in your life, that they can do anything, and you don't have to know every little thing along the way how they got there. Claire has mastered. We'll have a massive problem, and I'll say, Claire, blah, 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 blah. And she'll say, got it. And a couple of days later, I come back and everything. And I don't know what she went through. And I know she went through a lot to take care of whatever it was. And so she's unflappable. And it's just been a tremendous asset for us. And I appreciate, as I told you, I appreciate all that you've done and been. And Claire got the job because she showed a tremendous highlight video in her interview of her draining a 3 late in the game. That was a part of her interview. It was really cool. I said, sold. All right, we'll sign you up. There was no defense involved, and I was like, She said, Coach, that's overrated.
Not known for my defense at all.
But Claire DeWilliams, give it up for Claire.
Thanks, and thank you. That's really nice. I kind of was drug up here, but by Glory, and I want to say thanks for everything that she did to put this on. It's really great to see everyone that came out into support, and obviously a great cause, and really important that we came here to what was really important, obviously. So. Yeah,
there aren't many professional franchises that have a female-led tandem, So that's something that we're proud to be conquering. But Claire, what's it like? And so Claire started out off in the operations field, where literally everything that our team does when we move, Claire was a part of. And so whether that's getting players into town, out of town, during the season, any needs that the players would have. So she had, I always would say this to Roger, would have like the most important job, because she touched the players every day, like frequently. And so you needed a really good person, and we paid them very little. And I would tell Roger I didn't understand that, because it was so important. And we were very fortunate to get Claire at a young age. And I'll let Claire, you can kind of talk about your journey, but why, I think you were coaching when we got together, when we talked about this opportunity. And what did you see about this opportunity, and how has it progressed for you in terms of your maturation?
Yeah, it was an evolution. I think when I, obviously being a player, knew I loved the game of basketball. I had ever since I was a young girl. And then when I was in the coaching world, I kind of learned quickly that might not have been exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to be a part of a team. Winning was always way sweeter than it was, the bad parts of losing. And I just knew I wanted to impact an organization, and I kind of thought that admin was more my avenue. And so just being part of being part of a team was always the most important.
I could hear you fine.
Yeah. Sorry,
talking
everyone.
to me, right?
And I think Jana asked me right off the bat, what's it like to work for Cheryl? And it's probably what most of you are curious about. It's honestly such every day I'm inspired, and it's really, really empowering to come to work and have, people at the very top pushing you and wanting you to be the best that you can be. And she expects you to be perfect. I mean, she expects everyone to put their best foot forward always. And working for a person like her, whether it's a player or, part of PR or training staff, everyone wants to be their best, because we know that we're getting her best every single day. So it's really inspiring to come to work and just, want to be your best. And I think that's a real testament to why the Lynx have been such a powerhouse for years and years and years.
How difficult is it when it's not perfect?
It's tough. It's tough. It's I think when you have such a standard like Maya, 25 wins a season is the expectation, and everyone wants to be great every day. I think